You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Oh, I live in the hood, ass nigga. Never got put on, always claiming the hood though. Oh, you fucking with the homegirl, but don't come to the hood with none of your damn homeboys. They don't get a pass. Had the little homies press they ass for your tattoos. Hey, your mama waking up to some bad news. The plug saying groove, I'm a dime. I was long in the race, skinny nigga with the braid. Took a 2-man fade, I'm really from the hood. I took a fucking break to get my money right, but I was begging on the plane in the meeting with Jermaine. They like, poet, oh you bang? Yeah, they forgot where I came from. I was gang banging when it wasn't fun. Homie doing life right now, cause we don't. You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. And that goes for these hoes too. Start fucking on niggas and throwing these niggas hood up. Ha, little dot. Heard you gave a homie head in the trap spot. Gotta throw away in the stash spot. Boy, you not real, like a Sasquatch. Boy, I'm so high, I'm seeing astronauts. Boy, I ball hard, I need a mascot. Oh, and Swahili, I'm a Damu. My little cousin making Paru. My nigga Uzi, he from Fire Deuce. Pad blows, I be hanging with some real whoops. Gang signs out the window when we drive coupes. Making money with some crips like it's 92. Banging on tracks. Back in my days, it was banging on. You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
Fuck Chris Brown, nigga. Pull up in the hood right now, nigga. Catch your fade, nigga. Fuck, nigga.
What's up, YouTube? You miss me? Well, YouTube, you miss me. What's up, YouTube? Since YouTube censorship, right, I'm going to have to start me another page, right? So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to flood the YouTube streets with all kind of YouTube videos, right? I'm going to do a lot of 10-minute videos, right? I'm going to do about 3 or 4 videos a day. That's not going to interfere with the skits, right? I'm going to do about 3 or 4 clips a day. I'm gonna hit the latest news, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. I'm gonna drag stuff. And if you're on my Patreon, right, you have to send me some videos that you may want to see on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You can send me a video and I'll do the video on Patreon. Y'all gotta start sending videos on the Patreon. Y'all can't just watch the video. You gotta send me clips, and you're supposed to be the background to the YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be like them other people on the other channel. Like, Black, you might be interested in this. Black, the channel might be interested in that. So if you're on my Patreon, message me a YouTube video. I can't get them on YouTube, but on Patreon, you can message me a video. You can send a link, share the link, and just whenever you send me a message, just load it up, right? But also, right, I'm going to do every day from I say 4 o'clock my time. That's like 7 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to do call-ins, right? So I'm going to do a call-in show for an hour a day, right, from Monday to Friday, right? I'm going to leave the number up, and you can call in with your rants, with your messages, with your comedy, whatever the hell you want to call in. You know, we're going to keep the conversation short to about 3 minutes so everybody get a chance to call, right? You know what I'm saying? You can call as many times you want, back to back if you want to, but not on the same day. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give everybody a chance, so I'm going to put the number up, and you can call with your recommendations or whatever you want to do. I'm going to try to do that from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I'm only going to do it an hour, right? And I'm going to release skits, right? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? On the other channel, on this channel right here, right? Starting tomorrow, right? So you might want to subscribe to this channel, because starting tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing about 5 skits a day on it, right? I got to get my algorithm up. So if you ain't subscribed to Black Rosebud, go ahead and subscribe, right? This is going to be, this is going to be one of my first skits right here, Donald Trump investigations. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that up, right? I'm going to, let me see, Donald Trump investigations, right? I'm going to make this, boom, what we're going to do? We're going to make this public. We're going to set a premiere for tomorrow, right? Schedule it for tomorrow, right? At, tomorrow, boom, at about, let me see, 2 o'clock p.m. 2 o'clock p.m. 2 o'clock p.m. We're gonna set that for tomorrow on this channel right here. So you might want to put the link in the description box. Boom, set a premiere already. Tomorrow, today the 27th, man. Yeah, today the 27th, right? So tomorrow, right, you get to see this skit right here. Boom, it's already scheduled, right? It's already scheduled. And if you're on my Patreon, you get to see this skit right here, right? It's where we at? Right here. It's already up. Joe Biden. I'm gonna put this skit up tomorrow too. This skit going up tomorrow, and this skit going up tomorrow, right? And I got a couple of other skits going up tomorrow, right? Matter of fact, I can just put this skit up tomorrow. Let me see. Put this skit up for tomorrow too. It's only a 10-minute skit, right? We're gonna put this up for tomorrow too. We're gonna put this, set this for a premiere at about 12 p.m. We're gonna put this at 12 p.m. right here. 12 p.m. for tomorrow. All right, a little quick little skit right quick. I'll put like 3 more skits up for every hour of the day. I don't have to build this channel up. So if you subscribe to this channel, go ahead and watch all the videos all the way through so I can get them subscriptions up, right? Boom, right? Two scheduled for today. I don't set 2 more scheduled for today. I got skits all over this damn thing, right? I got skits everywhere, right? Let me go back to where we at, right? Right here. Bam! Now, I just put up a couple of videos, you know what I'm saying, to make it through the day. Since we ain't been on YouTube in a while, since YouTube had been censored and blocked on both channels, and I'm blocked on Facebook right now, too. So they got me on social media lockup, y'all. They say my freedom of speech is too free. They got me in 30-day jail on Facebook. I'm on 2-week jail times on YouTube. They got a nigga locked up. They won't let me out. So what I'm gonna have to do, right? What I'm gonna be doing, right, is I'm gonna make the skits, right? But just until I get off of my restrictions, I'm gonna keep my clips, my skits dirty. But you're gonna notice it ain't gonna be no cussing in them, right? I'm gonna say ass and son of a bitch and shit and stuff like that. But I ain't gonna be saying motherfucker and nigga and all that old stuff, right? I'm gonna stay away from that until my YouTube channel on that channel get. Matter of fact, let me give you a sample of what the new comedy is like. Let me give you a sample. Right, it's still raw. Let me give you a sample of a premiere, right quick. Let me give you a sample of this while we waiting. Give you a 5-minute sample. Give you a 5-minute sampler. Oh, I can't wait. I can't play it no more. Oh, well. I can't play it no more because it's a premiere. My bad. Let me see what I got it up in here. Let me see what I got up in here. Produce. Okay, wait. I got it up in here. Matter of fact, let me give you a quick one on this one right here. Let me open up. This is gonna be on a quick 2-minute drill. Joe Biden will be a lame duck president for the next 2 years. Ain't nobody associated with this. Joe Biden. This gonna be my new style. He can spend the next 2 years sniffing all the baby hair he wants to and sniffing baby butts or whatever the hell he sniffs. But Joe Biden will be a lame duck president. Nobody's messing with him.
Would you consider filing for re-election early next year to show that you're not going to be a lame duck?
Now, Politico came out with an article before Joe Biden was president, right? With a couple of his advisors saying Joe Biden said, he said it himself, right? If he elected, he will not run for a second term, right? He will be a one-term president. It came out of the horse's mouth, right? And we all know Joe Biden say, if I'm healthy enough, I would do it. Just watch me. We all know he wasn't talking about mentally healthy, right? Because we all know if he was talking about mentally healthy, he wouldn't have been running the first time. But Joe Biden said if he's physically healthy, right, he's going to run for president, right? Because the Democrats need the body. They don't need his brain, right? But he said, just watch me.
I'm not going to be a lame duck. Just watch me.
But even the just watch me is stolen. That's not even Joe Biden catchphrase. That's somebody else's catchphrase. That's Mr. Blackface Daddy himself, Mr. Roger Trudeau daddy catchphrase. Joe Biden stole that too, old speech thief.
Justin channeled his famous father with his reply. He wrote back, just watch me.
Just watch me. I've been saying this from the very beginning.
We got to see the rest of that. Wait a minute. You got to see the rest of that. I say the best part for the middle. But that's going to be my new style. So I can get the comedy out fast. I can get better at it. So I can get it out fast enough and stuff like that. That's just an experiment. But I'm going to be getting them comedy clips out fast. So subscribe to that channel right there and you can get all the clips. But let's get into this right quick, right? Do you know, right, that we've been taken over by the elite, right? You know that the Hispanic vote is very important to. Oh, matter of fact, I got a couple of donations. Let me give a shout out to the people that's donating. Oh, who we got up in here? We got banned from YouTube. I was banned from YouTube too. What? I got my boy 160. I need to move out the hood just for the morning. They clean up the gangster graffiti. Oh, man, there's gangster graffiti all over here. You don't want to come to my street, 160. Who else though? DS double triple 111. What's up with it? Black lives matter. Black lives matter. My bad. I said Black lives matter. You damn right. Black lives matter. Was it Pittsburgh Rick? What's up, Pittsburgh Rick? Good looking out on the donation, Pittsburgh Rick. But let's get up into this, right? Good looking out on the donations on why the elite is trying to control the Hispanic vote, right? Now, they talking about how Elon Musk bought up Twitter. Right? He trying to silence liberal voices and stuff like that. He trying to do all this old stuff, right? Now, they don't say nothing about George Soros just running around and bought up damn near all the conservative stations inside of America, right? All the conservative Hispanic stations inside of America, right? Because he wanted to control the Hispanic voice, and the Democrats want to control the Hispanic voice, right? So they went and bought up all the Hispanic radio stations. Listen to this.
Today from some of the Cuban exile community, fearing they may lose one of their iconic conservative radio stations. Univision is selling its Radio Mambi and 17 other stations across the country to a Latino media group. Local 10's Hatzel Vela is live in Doral with this story. Hatzel, big news.
Chrissy, yes, big news. And as you said it, an iconic station that's been historically linked to the Cuban exile community. But some critics will tell you they believe it has become a mouthpiece to conservative politics.
A mouthpiece to conservative politics, right? So guess what? George Soros got to end that. He can't have no mouthpiece for political politics, right? If it's benefiting the conservative party, right? He can't do that. So he got to buy all the radio stations and silence all the radio stations that could promote political conservative, especially to the Cubans, about freedom, about democracy, about all that old stuff, communism, about all that old stuff. I was going to do a documentary. I got so many documentaries coming up, little short minutes. I got Goldwater coming up. I got Barack Obama coming up. I got Michelle Obama coming up. I got all kind of shit coming up. Y'all just wait for them all. Let's go.
It was a parade of Republican elected officials, one after another, deeply concerned, they say, over the sale of iconic radio stations Radio Mambi and WQBA.
There's a bit of a shockwave over the Spanish language airwaves. A startup called Latino Media Network is buying 18 Spanish radio.
Look what they have. Fresno, a lot of Hispanics. Los Angeles, a lot of Hispanics. Vegas, a lot of Hispanics. Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, right? Texas, all this over Miami, Chicago, New York, right? They buy all this Hispanic media, conservative media.
Radio stations in 10 cities around the country.
Lieutenant Governor says she fears this would be a takeover of what is one, if not the only, local conservative radio station in South Florida.
And what we will not stand for is an attempt to control the narrative, to silence conservative viewpoints, because it doesn't fit with an overall agenda that is, in my opinion, very damaging to this country, led by George Soros.
Ha! You think George Soros is going to let conservative voices talk? They already got the Democrats talking about how dangerous this channel is.
This is a radio station right now, Radio Mambi, which promotes the great replacement theory, which promotes xenophobic thought, which has said anti-Semitic things.
Former Democratic Congressman Joe Garcia welcomes the sale, says this will add some balance to local journalistic discourse.
More liberal control, more liberal conversation, right? This is what they want, right? In Fresno, Los Angeles, Vegas, all these cities.
The network is backed by some prominent Democrats, including actress Eva Longoria.
Eva Longoria, right? All the liberals coming out, right? You think they're going to have a Donald Trump conservative voice on these conservative channels when Donald Trump run in 2024? All these channels is silenced. No Donald Trump on here.
The company describes its mission like this. We believe Latinos need media for us, by us, owned and operated by Latinos, starring Latinos, for Latinos first and foremost.
Capitalism only works for these guys when it's right-wing fanaticism or nationalism, as opposed to fair and balanced news that makes sense to the people who consume it.
The possible new owners say the stations we acquired in Miami have been institutions in the Cuban community for decades, and Cuba's freedom is one of their flagship issues.
They're a central hub of information from Cuba and about Cuba. And we're concerned because there's a political and ideological background here, baggage, and we're concerned that these hubs of information be silenced or be marginalized.
Why they don't say nothing about George Soros interfering with campaigns, elections, and voting and all that other stuff? Why don't say nothing about that? His illegal contributions.
It's really important to us.
Financing for the deal is coming from a company linked to George Soros, one of the richest men in the world, known for his political donations to Democratic candidates.
Living room here.
Right? Huh? Right? And we got something else, right? We offer George Soros, right? We're going to run through these videos, right? And you got George Soros, right? You got George Soros taking over elections. You got George Soros, right, taking over radio stations, right? But you also got companies like BlackRock and other companies taking over housing, right? And the cold thing about it, they buy all the property and they're not letting you buy them back. They're letting you rent them. You can't rent them. I mean, you can't buy these properties. And they doing it, right? Somebody come in like this black lady right here, come in to try to buy a house, right? And they say, hell no, you can't buy the house because the financing company or the Wall Street bankers is buying up all the properties and they rent them out to people, right? And they're making the money back. It's a pyramid scheme with this housing, y'all. It all happened after the Wuhan. Watch this.
For Tony Carr, the dance had become all too familiar. See a house?
I love this kitchen.
Fall in love. Make an offer.
I was like, oh my God, this is the one. I want this one.
And then?
And then my offer was declined.
The Navy veteran was pre-approved with a loan, hoping to move to Gwinnett County, Georgia, to be closer to her mother.
How many offers did you put down?
30.
She was offering full asking price, if not more, but kept losing out to all cash offers.
This is a home we bought.
All cash offers. The who? The who? White people, right? Or financial bankers or BlackRock.
This is 3518 Shiner Drive.
Right.
In Jacksonville. This home is 1,700 square feet.
How many bedrooms?
3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was built about 3 years ago.
And while Tony doesn't know who the buyers were, the Atlanta area is one of the hottest markets for large financial firms, often backed by private equity, that buy up and rent out single-family homes.
Huh? What are they doing? They buying out and renting single-family homes, right? So they buying up all the property, right? I mean, and they're not buying like one property, 2 properties. They buying hundreds of properties a day.
Gary Berman is CEO of Tricon Residential, a Toronto-based company that has quietly become one of the largest owners of single-family homes in the United States.
They're very aggressive. Their offers come in all cash. They come in sight unseen. So as soon as the house hits the market, you got an offer from them. Okay. And they're ready to close within a few days.
So today we own about 30,000 single family rental homes across the U.S., largely in the Sun Belt. And we've got probably about 75,000 people living in our homes.
Atlanta real estate agent Erlene Holder says more than half her office's listings are going to investment companies.
Huh? And what happened to the small business investment companies? Joe Biden ain't putting no regulations on this pyramid scheme right here. How these bankers and Wall Street is buying these houses and not reselling them, but renting them at whatever price they want to, right? This is a pyramid scheme.
The companies typically use computer algorithms to identify desirable property so they can bid quickly.
You are a multi-billion-dollar company. You're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange.
Correct.
How somebody with a military loan gonna compete with that?
And the
Toronto Stock Exchange.
Toronto Stock Exchange. I even read in one of your own documents that your revenue went up last year by 67%. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're expanding.
Huh? He expanding. Why Joe Biden ain't going after them? I think 67%, right, is way more than what the gas companies is making, is what the electric companies making. They worried about 5 or 10%. This nigga made 67%, and he a small fry. He not even big in the game. He a small fry.
One of them is Invitation Homes, which owns more than 12,000 single-family houses in the Atlanta area, and nationwide, more than 81,000. The company points to the country's current rental housing shortage and says it provides choice and flexibility to the growing segment of Americans across all generations who are opting to rent instead of own.
Huh? Rent instead of own. I remember Donald Trump used to preach home ownership, right? Home equity, right? Because that's how you get generational wealth, right? You can pass things on. You can't pass nothing on if you're renting it. What you gonna pass on, a bill? They buying up property.
I mean, when you think about it, we have an incredible amount of demand for what we do. So, Leslie, in any given week, we might have 200 or 300 homes available.
For renting.
For renting. And we get about 10,000 leasing inquiries a week.
Huh? 10,000, right? But at least about 200, right? So people can't buy the home, so they got to lease them.
3 other large firms own more than 100,000 homes combined. One of them just announced a $5 billion fund to buy more.
Tricon is trying to buy 800 houses a month, and there are companies even bigger.
The pandemic has really accelerated this business.
Ryan December has been following this housing trend for years. He says for buyers, there are few legal options when they're competing with investors with deep pockets.
Right? So if you thinking about buying a house, right, you're going to have to compete with a buyer with deep pockets. And remember, we got in a recession, right, and the financial tax thing went up, right, and the percentage went up. So you're going to have to buy at a higher price, right, and you can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, they're going to outbid you.
Invitation Homes owns more than 80,000 rental houses. American Homes for Rent close to 60,000. Some of the all-stars of finance, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Blackstone, have put hundreds of millions of dollars into these companies.
People start to think, well, what if I want to sell to one of them? What if what if an investor pays the highest price for my house when it's time to sell? And people don't, when they get to thinking about it, they don't want to restrict their market.
They all offer rental homes online and all focus on the Sun Belt.
Our largest portfolio would be in Atlanta, in Charlotte, in Phoenix, in Tampa.
So there's about 25 to 35% of the houses in this neighborhood are owned by Wall Street landlords.
And those are the
Wall Street, right? Wall Street landlords, right? The rich getting richer. Ain't nobody doing nothing about it. Joe Biden ain't saying nothing.
cities that young millennials are flocking to?
This is where Americans want to be. We're finding that Americans are moving from the Northeast, from the Midwest, to move to the Sun Belt because taxes are lower. It's a friendlier business environment. It's better weather. And so there's a movement taking place. And the pandemic unleashed powerful nesting trends and work from home trends.
It's why in places like this suburb outside Nashville, investors can build up huge inventories, says Tennessee State University professor Ken Shilton.
This is private equity coming in and mining equity out of communities and sending it back to people who are already wealthy.
Huh? Taking the money out of the community and giving the money back to the wealthy, right? It's a pyramid scheme, right? They build a house, get the money, go buy the house, resell it, and rent, and make money for the rest of their damn life, right? Get money, get paid, right? Get paid.
Nesting trends.
Powerful nesting trends. When we survey our residents, why did they move to be with us?
Yeah.
The number one reason is they want more space.
Big investment companies like yours are being blamed for this huge increase in rents across the country.
Is this the American dream?
No.
After 30 offers, Tony Carr finally closed on a house by going farther away from where she'd hoped to be.
Everybody can't just walk in the door with $250,000 cash to buy a house.
And
Huh? But he can.
you can set the rent any way you want, really, given the demand you're talking about.
So my dream house, I can't have because I don't have $250,000 cash.
She may not, but big investment firms have billions.
But what you might not have known.
Huh? Right? Why do you think the Democrats are so many schemes? Like FTX, right? The Democrats, right, is in FTX big, right? The dude scamming money for everybody and stuff like that. People holding commercials, right? Remember Shaq on commercials, right? Along with Stephen Curry talking about, you don't need to be a genius. Just give your money to FTX, right? You got people holding commercials for FTX. You got this dude running around with shorts and damn curly hair looking like the great American hero, talking about what he gonna do for America and how he helping Ukraine and how he donating money, sleeping on the damn sleeping bag and stuff like that. Got away with all that money, and the Democrats didn't say nothing. Let him go on about his business.
Was just how closely tied this scam, and that's really the only word for it, how closely tied it was to the Democrat Party. Let's start with the guru behind it, Sam Bankman-Fried, whose dad was a Stanford professor, a major Democrat donor himself, and author of draft legislation used by Elizabeth Warren.
Like father, like son, right? The apple don't fall far from the tree.
With this background, it's no surprise Bankman-Fried himself was a darling of the left. And if you're looking for data points as to just how cozy the now defunct FTX was with progressives, check out how the New York Times has covered its rise and fall. Back in May, the Times was pumping up Bankman-Fried's tires, describing him in absolutely gushing terms. Almost.
They were saying he was the next best thing to baby Jesus, right? He donated. He's a philanthropist, right? He's a genius, right? He's baby Jesus.
Just as a sort of new age prophet of crypto determined to change the world. And now that more than $1 billion has gone missing seemingly overnight, they just refer to its collapse in very passive terms, while the words fraud, crime, stolen, theft, criminal, and hidden make no appearance in the Times' latest 2,000-plus word count article about.
Because he probably donated money to their ass too. He probably, I'm pretty sure he donated money to the New York Times.
About the debacle. Could it be because next week Bankman-Fried was due to speak at a New York Times forum with Janet Yellen, Mark Zuckerberg, and the Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky? And as the Times noted, I love this bit, the event was being held, quote, with World Economic Forum partner Accenture? Maybe Bankman-Fried was just teasing Klaus Schwab's promise that you will own nothing and you will be happy.
You will own nothing and you will be happy, right? Why do you think this dude is just like George Soros, right? The same category as George Soros, influence politics, right? Mark Zuckerberg, influence politics. George Soros, influence politics. But if Elon Musk do something, he needs to be investigated. He needs to lose his company. He needs to be fined.
What about your individual influence? You've seen what's happened to George Soros. Yep. He's been politically attacked. He gets it up. Yep.
If you put, of course, the money in FTX, trying that out on his customers, hey? But even more important is the fact that Bankman-Fried was running what appears to be a slush fund for Democrats.
Back in May, Bankman-Fried said in an interview he would give up to $1 billion in the general election to Democrats if former President Trump were running.
All illegal donations, right? Right? He was the Democratic Party second biggest donor. Some say you can thank Joe Biden can thank his presidency to George Soros and this dude right here, right? To two people, right? If that help the Democratic Party, right, with finances, the two most corrupt sons of bitches, right, in the Democratic process currently, George Soros and Curly Head.
He and his mates became the second biggest donors to the Democrats after George Soros.
But now the money, it seems, has run out, and top Democrats on Capitol Hill want answers. Senate Banking Committee Chairman Sherrod Brown telling Fox that they
now all of a sudden the Democrats want answers. They want to answer when they ask for getting them donations.
Need answers, and he thinks FTX should testify to explain the collapse of this crypto empire.
Bankman-Fried also dangled the prospect earlier this year of giving up to $1 billion to the Democrats in coming election cycles. As it turns out, the Democrats have so far only received tens of millions of dollars, relatively small change, but wouldn't it be something if they gave those donations back to the investors who lost everything?
But some are asking Democrats who got their hands on this cash if they will give it back. Dozens of congressional candidates benefited from the crypto founders' now tainted cash. Most of it was funneled through a political action committee called Protect Our Future, which received over $27 million from the founder. The Daily Beast reached out to over 25 lawmakers that received money. Some said they'll give the money to charity. Others
Nah, and they ain't gonna get their money to charity. If you get the money to charity, you can get it back. You can write it off and get the money back. I'm gonna give the money to charity. No, give the people the money back who invested it, not the charity.
Others said they spent it to boost other Democratic candidates.
I ain't gonna give it back. I spent that money to help somebody else. I didn't use that money. Go ask them. I helped them. What? No, we'll get the money back from them, right? If that was the case, all these campaigns was funded by illegal stolen donations.
And some simply aren't saying anything at all. I got an opportunity to ask Chairwoman Maxine Waters on her way into this hearing if she thinks Democrats should give the money back. She told me,
hell no, they shouldn't give it back. I didn't even record that, right? Maxine Waters didn't say that, but I could say it for it. Hell no. Maxine Waters say hell no.
She didn't want to get into it.
So there's a point of saturation that you've learned.
Yeah, that's right.
You can make the same case for the Adelson family.
We have a population that only way.
I didn't mean to.
Welcome.
Right?
Explain that.
I wanted to show you something, right? Wait. I did want to show you this, right?
Same case for the Adelson family.
We have.
Right? You see how the Democrats, right, they say, right, about how abortion was going to kill women. Well, abortion been illegal in about 5 or 6 states for a couple of months. I heard one woman died from abortion. I heard one news story, right? But somehow, right, and so it's zero, right? In 1 month, I mean, in about 5 months, 0 women have died from not getting an abortion. All this, so where's she gonna die, and it's gonna affect women's rights and stuff like that, right? Not one woman died. Right? So next time you hear somebody say an abortion gonna kill a woman, say, hold on, wait a minute. An abortion illegal in a couple of states? How many women died in them states so far from not being able to get abortions, right? How many kids that was 9 years old or 10 years old got raped by their uncle couldn't get abortion, right? How many? And we heard the one got raped by an immigrant, right? But how many other ones you heard couldn't get an abortion? I wait, right? But instead of, right, you hear the Republicans, you like people like Chuck Schumer, right, talk about we need immigrants, right? Because he gave it away. He said, right, the people over here are not reproducing at a rate that can keep up with the country. Well, they're not reproducing because you're scaring the shit out of them. You tell them to get abortions and kill the babies.
Of a population that now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Here to explain.
Now, they got some more updated clips of this, right? But I just think the Tucker Carlson clip was the funniest, right? Now, they had a group of people talking about, right, not reproducing for the country, right? We shouldn't reproduce, right, because we're selfish, right? And there's other species on this earth, right, that we're killing, that we shouldn't be reproducing, right? And they have a group called the the voluntarily extinct movement program, right? It's a program, or it's a part of society where they tell you, right, we don't want you to do nothing bad to yourself, right? We just don't want you to have no more kids, right? We just don't want you to, we want you to live life and don't have no more kids and don't eat no more meat and kill no more species, right? Because the species are just as important as you. Because God made this world not for just humans, but he made it for horses and donkeys and insects and rats and roaches and dogs and pigeons and all that shit too, right? So it's a human extinction program that is, right, that the Democrats kind of promote, if you really think about it.
The group's founder, Greenpeace is radical for spray painting baby harp seals. Brace yourself. For the sake of the environment, the voluntary human extinction movement wants to eliminate the human race from the planet. Here to explain, the group's founder, Les Knight. He joins us from Portland, Oregon. Les Knight, welcome.
Thank you, Tucker.
So you want to eliminate the human race. How unhappy was your childhood?
I know a lot of people think that. No.
It's an obvious conclusion. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want people to become extinct?
Well, it's either us or millions of other species going extinct. You know, before we go too far, I should explain that this is through voluntarily not breeding. We're not advocating.
You're not calling for genocide.
No, or any kind of increase in death. We're calling for a decrease in death, actually.
Okay, but you're calling for people to go away. I guess the obvious answer is, what if we prefer our species to those other species, right? I mean, isn't it fair for human beings to want to perpetuate their own species?
Well, it would be fair if that's all we did, and if we let the others also survive and exist, if we could peacefully coexist.
Right, he want to peacefully coexist. Ain't that what the Democrats talking to a certain degree with nature and water and not reproducing and all this other stuff? What AOC is steadily preaching, right? Talking about society and the birds and the trees, right? We're not treating that as a nature fair, so we got to stop reproducing. Telling kids and women don't have babies, kids up in there tying their tubes and stuff like that. And not reproducing by getting sex changes. That's how you kill a generation. How can you have a baby if you get a sex change?
But ever since we became Homo sapiens, we haven't been able to do that.
What do you mean? I mean, there are many species of plant and animal that are thriving.
We still haven't got to them yet. We're working on it, though.
No, I mean, but that's literally true. I mean, there are all sorts of, insects and algae. And I mean, there's a lot of living things on this earth, and a lot of them are doing quite well.
They are, yes, especially the ones that can adapt to our civilizations, like pigeons and rats. But there are many species which have gone extinct due to our increase. There are so many of us. Wherever we live, not much else lives.
Right? So we need to we need to stop living, and we need to go in extinction, right? So other humans can live, right? Remember, they wanted to populate the world to 9 million people, right? 9 million people is a perfect number, right? If you go back to the dinner of the billionaires, right, with George Soros and Bill Gates and all the billionaires was talking, right? And they were saying they wanted to popularize the world. They came with all kind of theories, right? And like, if you can't reproduce or you don't reproduce, you depopulate.
So what's the point of saving the earth if there would be no people around to enjoy it?
Well, I know that's a question a lot of people ask, and it's obvious that they're not thinking about all the other species. That we are just one of 10 million, who knows how many. We've only cataloged 2 million. And to think that the entire planet is just for us is rather human-centered.
Of course it's human-centered. We're humans. Now you
damn right it's human. You damn right it's human-centered, right? Is the planet just for us? God made the planet for us and everything else to eat.
Apparently,
so yes, I think that
right. But they're trying to take away, right? They're trying to take away reproducing, right? And they also, right, and while they're taking away reproducing, right, they're taking away the black family, the black nuclear family, right, by especially not having black people reproduce with homosexuality, drugs, single father homes and stuff like that, low marriage, a low home ownership. It's just lots of things contribute to a black family not being reproduced, right? But the main reason, right, is the emasculation of a man. You had a movie, right, the first woman king or whatever, right? Now it got to a point where a woman is considered a king now, right? It can't be the great woman queen, right? But what's the opposite of that, right? The great man queen, right? You got the great woman king, and you got the great man king, queen, right? That don't even make sense, right? Because some gay dude gonna want to be the next man queen if he ain't already, right? But they got women that's playing a role, right? When the last time you saw somebody like the transporter, right? Or a great ass kicking somebody like Die Hard Bruce Willis or something like that. The only movie you've seen nowadays in the theaters on Netflix is a woman kicking everybody's ass, right? Katie and this lady with the swords and Resident Evil. You seeing a lot of women as Queen Latifah. A lot of women is kick people's ass, whole armies. Woman king. Right? It's not like that in real life. They demasculating the men because they saying the man is not is replaceable, right? Especially in the black family, right? And this lady right here, this black lady right here about to expose it.
That the Black community does actually need strong nuclear families, but not because we're Black, but because that's the natural order.
Amen.
And so I think it would be safe to say that Reese may not be a Christian, because when God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman.
How is the black community multiplying? We subtracting, right? Abortions, murders, right? Homosexuality, right? Sex handling. We subtracting. We're not multiplying. We're not going by God's order.
So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife, child. And that's the natural order. And that's why I think we can see some of the foolishness that we see in the Black community, because we are out of order. And we can make up all of this stuff that sounds good. I'm from a single parent home, and I'm not somewhere cracked out in the street selling my body. However, that is not ideal. It would have been better for me to be in God's order, to have a mother and a father to raise me. And that's just what it is.
And that's just life, right? And that's the best thing for every black man. I mean, every black child. But why do you think the Democrat got a policy, right? If a black man stays in the house with a black woman, right, and she on benefits, she lose all her benefits, right? Because the Democratic Party and the liberal don't want the nuclear family. They don't want the black man inside the house with the black woman, right? If they did, they make it possible, but they make it impossible.
You know, the effect that it's had, we've had women for generations now saying that they don't need a man, and we have boys that don't want to be one.
Off the bus into the house. She knew exactly.
My bad, it was on pause the whole time, right? My bad. This video right here is about pound cake, right? Bill Cosby made a video about pound cake, right? It was a lot of controversy because he was talking about black parents, right? You got her talking from a black kid's point of view. You got Bill Cosby finna talk from a black parent's point of view, right? About how a parent should be responsible for their kids' action. It's not good enough that you want to cry for your baby after after the shit done happen, right? Try to do something before the shit happen, right? Try to put in things before before your baby go to jail, before your baby be put in the grave, right? Because just being a parent and just being there and crying after the shit, right, is not going to work, right? I mean, you're not even helping other parents, right, with knowledge of the pain that you feel or the knowledge that you might go through, right? If your child was to be lost to crime or murder or something like that, right? But there's a lot of people in the black community, they promote it on radio, right? They promote it in they song, they promote it on the movie, they promote it on their Facebook, they promote it on their Instagram. Little kids in the streets, buck wild, holding guns, going to school, right? And then when their kids die, they want to get on TV and cry. Now I feel for the parents, right, that die on fentanyl, the kids die on fentanyl and stuff like that. But we gotta ask ourselves, why is these kids taking drugs, and what is these parents doing to stop these kids or notice these kids from taking these drugs, right? Why are these kids overdoses, right? Why are all these kids all of a sudden taking what do you call it? I forgot what you call them. I don't even know Percocets and stuff like that, right? Why the hell does all these kids all of a sudden need these drugs to maintain and stay up and be in a conscious state of mind and shit like that? How the parents know? Do the parents know what they shit a kid is on, right? But it happens every single day. Some parent don't know what their kid on. Hundreds of parents a day don't know what their kid is doing, right? And their parent and their kids is dead, right, for taking something, right, that their parent knew nothing about. Every single day, a parent is going to go through it right now, today, tomorrow, the next day, yesterday. It's going to keep on happening, right? Just like gang stuff, right? We don't know what happened until after it happened, right? We got to start doing this shit before. And Bill Cosby got into a lot of trouble for this speech. Pound cake.
In the old days, you couldn't hooky school because behind every drawn shade was an eye. And before your mother got off the bus into the house, she knew exactly where you had gone, who had gone into the house. Parents don't know that today.
Because parents don't give a fuck where their kids at, right? Parents, I mean, not all parents, a lot of parents do, right? But you got some parents give their kids too much freedom, right? Too much freedom of choice, too much freedom of action, too much freedom of movement, right? And things happen, and too much freedom of privacy.
I'm talking about these people who cry when their son is standing there in an orange suit. Where were you when he was 2? Where were you when he was 12? Where were you when he was 18? And how come you don't know he had a pistol?
Huh? How come you don't know? You give your kids too much privacy, right? Like, you rather for your kid to be mad at you now than him to be dead or in jail later, right? Then he'll be mad that you didn't do nothing, that you could have prevented it, that you didn't pay enough attention, right? And we have black parents, right, that are not allowed to do that, right? Because a mother is mostly in control, right, of the household, right? You don't have no man in the house that demands, hey, what I need to know what goes on in this house, right? That demands I need to see what's in your room. That demands I need to see your grades. You don't have that man in the house. A woman is forgiving. A woman is nurturing, right? Right? A woman is there to be how you say a soft, warm, emotional creature, right? She's not there to be the disciplinary, right? So when you take the disciplinary out of the house, right, you have kids that can go around and basically do anything because the mother is so loving, right? They want to give kids too much privacy, right? And they want to give kids too much responsibility, and they want to trust their kids a little too damn much.
These are not political criminals. These are people going around stealing Coca-Cola. People getting shot in the back of the head over a piece of pound cake. And then we all run out and we're outraged. Oh, the cops shouldn't have shot him. What the hell was he doing with the pound cake in his hand?
They always say what he shouldn't, what the cops shouldn't have done, but they never would say what their kid shouldn't have been doing, right? They always talk about the cops shouldn't have done that. They should have showed restraint. They should have done this, right? But they never talk about what led up to why the cops reacted into the way they did.
Brown versus the Board of Education is no longer the white person's problem. We've got to take the neighborhood back. We've got to go in there. It's right around the corner. It's standing on the corner. It can't speak English. It doesn't want to speak English. I can't even talk the way these people talk. Why you ain't where you is? Go where? I don't know who these people are. And I blamed the kid until I heard the mother talk. And then I heard the father talk. This is all in the house.
Right? And that, if you're looking out in the donation 160, right? That is all in the house. I've been to some houses, right, when the mother and the daughter, you know what I'm saying, cussing and talking, right? And they talk the same language, and you don't know who the mother or who the parent is, right? Or you don't know who the adult and who the kid is, right? And it's sad, right? The mother letting the kids do all kind of stuff at the house, right? And do all kind of stuff outside of the house, right? And they ain't worried about the education. They're not helping their kids with homework, not saying that their kids finish the homework or any of that, right? Not saying if their kids caught up in school, they're not going to a parent conference. They don't give a damn, right? And I always had, and I'm making this video, right? People always say, right, about transgender and education, how they get picked on the school. I would like to see a transgender that's a genius, or I would like to see the grade point average, you know what I'm saying, of the transgender, and see if they more focused on school or they sex, right? Right, because if they okay and they getting all this stuff in schools and people calling them, be able to call them their pronouns and stuff like that, if they getting all these rights, let me see their grade point average. Let me see how they doing in school. Let's see how many getting college scholarships and passing SATs and not asking people to lower the standards and stuff like that. Let's see how many people of that who made that decision are actually geniuses.
Everybody knows it's important to speak English, except these knuckleheads. You can't land a plane with why you ain't where. You can't be a doctor with that kind of crap coming out of your mouth. Why can't you hit the streets? Why can't you clean it out yourself? It's our time now, ladies and gentlemen. It is our time. And I have good news for you. It's not about money. It's about you doing something that ordinarily we do. Get in somebody else's business.
Get in somebody else's business, right? Like he started the speech, right? Back in the days, everybody knew what you used to do because people used to tell your mother. People used to tell your parents. People don't do that nowadays. Everybody stays out of everybody's business. If they see some child is lost or see some child being assaulted, right, or something like that, they're gonna stay out of the business, right? Most of them are probably filming, right? Especially if they see a woman getting assaulted or something like that. Most of them gonna film it and put it on Instagram. They're gonna try to intervene or anything, right? Everybody is staying out of everybody's business right now, right? Nobody wants to be the person that tells on somebody. Nobody wants to be the person that's in somebody's business. Nobody wants to be that person that's labeled nosy, right? A snitch or anything like that, right? Then when something happened, right, somebody should have said something. The neighbor should have reported it, right? But then they say, give everybody their privacy, right? And you deserve your privacy in a certain way. But everybody know what wrong is wrong. If you see a grown ass man with a little ass girl, you know something going on right there that shouldn't be going on, right? Especially if that's not her father or somebody related to her family, right? If you see some little kids drinking something out of a bag, right, or robbing somebody, or we know what to stay out of, right, or not, right? We see a little kid with a book bag going to school, and we're not going what he doing. Nowadays, you don't know what's in that book bag, though. But we know, right, or pretty much like who to put our sensors up on or not, right? It's not being in everybody's business, but you got to be in business about drug use, right? About sexual activity, right? About crime, robbery. We got to be in that because everybody know, right? Like when them people running around breaking in stores and stuff like that, everybody knew who them kids was in LA, but nobody turned them kids in.
It's time for you to not accept this language that these people are speaking, which will take them nowhere. What the hell good is Brown versus the Board of Education if nobody wants it?
Huh? Do you hear that? We look how hard black people fought to get the right to an education, right? Look how we went to getting hit with bricks and bats and stones, and we went through a lot, right? To get the equal rights to an education. How many black people in the hood you see taking up that education that our ancestors fought so hard to get, right? Do you see them? Do you see them fighting like we got an education, but we want more education? They want more voting rights, right? We want more voting rights and more of this, right? But how many people you see in them same marches saying we want more education, we want more better teachers, right? But the Democrats somehow convinced the Black Party that they need more voting rights than they need more education, right? Because if you can keep them dumb, we can keep them voting. Right? Brown versus, we fought for this right. People was, the National Guards was standing outside the school. People get hit with bricks. People put their life on the line. It's a picture with the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones in that picture with him standing in the school holding black students back from entering the class. We got all this stuff that the black people fought for, and you mean to tell me you don't want that right? The most important right? That was way more, look, in 19, the Brown versus whatever board, right, was way more important, right, to black civilization, to black unity. I mean, whatever you want to call it, black survival, black growth, or whatever you want to call it. It was the most essential thing that was ever given to black people, right? But you don't hear nothing about the Brown versus the Board of Education. You hear everything about Roe v. Wade, right? You don't hear nothing about fighting for the rights of Brown versus the Board of Education. Nothing. That was the most important, the right for blacks to have equal opportunity, not an equal right to vote. I would give up my right to vote for a better education any damn day of the month, a year, or life. The Democrats don't promote that. You don't see them working on the best civil rights act besides slavery, right, that was given to a man, right? Because back in the days, even when it was slavery, the slave owners was more scared of a black man being educated than a black man being able to vote, right? Because guess what? You had to be educated to know how to vote or to be able to vote. And they was more afraid of an educated man than a man that can give a vote that was 3/4 of a man. But the Democrats don't preach this because they don't give a damn. Let's roll it.
I mean, this is the future, and all of these people who've lined up and done whatever, they've got to be wondering, what the hell happened? Brown versus the Board of Education. These people who marched and were hit in the face with rocks and punched in the face to get an education, and we got these knuckleheads walking around, don't want to learn English. When you go to the church, look at the stained glass things of Jesus. Look at them. Is Jesus smiling? Not in one picture. So tell your friends, let's try to do something. Let's try and make Jesus smile.
The loudest voice.
Now, the last clip is about Kanye West. Kanye West done some stupidest shit in the world, right? He done put Donald Trump in a pickle because now Donald Trump got to explain how he's somehow connected because of Kanye West to white supremacy, right? He got to explain this shit when he shouldn't have to explain this shit, right? He just got to explain it, right? And you know CNN and MSNBC is soaking it up, right? They're going to put it on it and they're going to run with it for the next 5 or 6 months. What about you having dinner with a racist? What about you having dinner with... I mean, think about this, right? Let's say Donald Trump do support whatever, right? And this dude American, and he a voter, right? Shouldn't he have a voice? And don't he have the right to free speech? I hear plenty of black people on here talking about stuff all the time, right? About distinction and all kind of stuff, right? But don't this dude have the same right of everybody else? Can Donald Trump say, wait, I don't support what you do, but I still need your voice? Right? Because even though I don't like what you say, I'm still fighting for your freedom of speech. Even though I don't agree with it, but I still have to fight for it. Right? Couldn't it be like that? Why Donald Trump got to denounce a certain group because a certain group say, hey, it ain't good, right? They didn't tell him to announce Black Lives Matter. The Democrats denounced Black Lives Matter when they was running around talking about pigs in a blanket, right? Getting in the police face, talking all kind of racist stuff, calling them sellouts and Uncle Toms and saying what they do to them and stuff like that. Right? They didn't tell the Democratic Party to denounce Black Lives Matter. Right? A vote is a vote, even though the white supremacy is a messed up group, right? I know a lot of messed up groups just like the white supremacy. Hell, the Bloods and the Crips is just as dangerous to me. Right? To a nigga like me, the Bloods and the Crips is just as dangerous to the KKK as anything. And I don't run into KKK members every day, but I run into the Bloods and the Crips every day. Right? So you got to understand, right? It's not about racism. It's not about picking sides. It's about freedom of speech, right? And supporting everybody in your country, not what they do, right, or not what they say, but who they are, for who they are, and that's an American, right? No matter if your ass is racist or not, your ass still American. I know a lot of black racist sons of bitches.
In the Republican Party.
This will be our campaign all together.
Under fire tonight for what his actions and judgment actually say. 2024 candidate and former President Donald Trump hosted a dinner at Mar-a-Lago Tuesday with music mogul Kanye West.
I think the thing that Trump was most perturbed about, me asking him to be my vice president, I think that was like lower on the list of things that caught him off guard.
Hell yes. Besides you bringing the KKK up into Mar-a-Lago, nigga, how in the hell you gonna tell me to run vice? That is some bodega shit, right? Hey, Donald Trump, I'm gonna come into your house, right? And then I'm gonna ask you to be my vice president. How about that? Like, nigga, what? What kind of movement you got? What kind of, like, nigga, if anybody, nigga, you can be my motherfucking toilet a janitor or some shit like that. Nigga, I'm not finna be your vice president. What kind of shit is that? Remember, nigga, I was a billionaire before you was a billionaire. What kind of shit is that, nigga? Right? Remember, I was getting crucified way before you was getting crucified, huh? You want me to be your vice president? That's what Kanye lost me at. Then he get on national TV and say it, right? Then he always get up with Jesus is king. You say the craziest shit in the world, right? Kanye West say the craziest shit in the world. Then he's like, well, yeah, because Jesus is king. Like, okay, nigga, you just said something crazy, but now I can't say nothing about you saying something crazy because you say Jesus is king, right? People got to know Jesus is king, right? They can't control me because Jesus is king, right? I say what I want to because Jesus is king. I lost the Adidas contract because Jesus is king. I'm like, damn, nigga, okay, I got it. I mean, my kids, one day they're going to be grown because Jesus is king. Okay, I understand, right? I got out of the, I got with this contract and I'm going to go into this business because, I all praise to Jesus and Jesus is king. Like, okay, man. And he made me, and I'm not, he made me come up with a joke, right, about Jesus, right? And not to be funny, right? But have you ever, I mean, on a black level, right? And when you're in the hood, right, you see a woman that you like, right? And she had a body you like, and she had a face you like, and you know what I'm saying? You walk up to her and you like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, baby, you know, and this one, Jesus can be a turnoff. Like, hey, baby, them, how you doing? Thank you, Lord, Jesus Christ, everything, praise to Jesus, all praise to God. You're like, oh my God. You're like, now that's the time to be talking about Jesus. Like, it's not a turn off, but you're like, you know what? Jesus, why you have to come into my life right now, right? But it's not a turn off, but it's like a turn off because you're not going to be like, oh, she's talking about Jesus. Let me get to know her a little bit better. As soon as you say Jesus' name, every man, hey, let all praise to God, you be like, you know what? I'm out. How you have a nice day, ma'am. Right? But I mean, even though people love Jesus, understand the Lord and God, right? But when you put it, when Kanye West, right, use it as a shield and use it as a mechanism to not look into what he said as bullshit or false information or a lie or him just getting out being messy, right? He want to say Jesus King, right? Or a mistake he made, right? But some of the stuff he made was smart, right? But that Jesus King and Jesus Lord and all this, so Jesus my Savior and stuff like that. Okay, we get that. We get that. But don't keep using that.
Trump is now trying to explain away why he hosted a dinner at Mar-a-Lago with white nationalist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes,
who has been denounced for his anti-Semitism. West brought along Nick Fuentes, a politically active white supremacist and podcaster.
It was the fact that I walked in with intelligence.
But Mr. Trump tried distancing himself, posting on social media that West called me to have dinner, expressed no anti-Semitism, and claimed, I didn't know Nick Fuentes.
So Trump is really impressed with Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, unlike so many of the lawyers and so many people that...
You see how Kanye done that? Right? He knew Donald Trump probably didn't know Nick Fuentes, right? But like, oh, Donald Trump is real impressed with Nick Fuentes. No, he not. Stop saying that. And if he was, he probably was impressed with the person he is or the things he done, you know what I'm saying, to get a perfect, get a following, right, to get people to believe in him, right, get a podcast that's successful, right, to give people some type of information, right, regarding whatever his cause is. The same thing with any other person that's supposed to be a genius that people didn't like, right, like Hitler and Vladimir Putin and Chu Ching and all of them other people.
That he was left with on his 2020 campaign, he's actually a loyalist.
That is not good enough for Trump friend David Friedman, who served as ambassador to Israel. You are better than this. Even a social visit from an anti-Semite like Kanye West and human scum like Nick Fuentes is unacceptable.
Now, even though this dude don't agree with Kanye West, right? Kanye West was still cool with Donald Trump as one of Donald Trump and was one of Donald Trump's supporters when Donald Trump was president. Even though Kanye West is going off the rails, right? You're still supposed to stick with your people until they fall all the way fuck off, right? And I think with this last meeting, Kanye West is falling all the way to fuck off because he just went into something that Donald Trump probably can never get over. First, you come in my house saying, you want me to run for vice president, right? Then you want to come in my house and bring a white supremacist, right? And then you want to come on national TV and say I was impressed with him and stuff like that, making me look like I'm in cahoots with this white supremacy, and I'm trying to get approval and give him approval, right? You know, so I don't think, I think this is the last straw with Kanye.
When he didn't know what the lawyers is, you'll still have your lawyer list.
Today in Nantucket, President Biden was asked about Mr. Trump hosting a white supremacist and held back.
Mr. President, what do you think of Donald Trump having dinner with a white nationalist?
You see how you see how fake news gonna spin that, right? What happens is you got your boy Kanye West just gave the Democratic Party all the information or all the bullshit in the world to throw at Donald Trump, right? You just gave him gas to throw in the flame, right? You know what I'm saying? We put this racist shit out there. Donald Trump is a racist. He got had a dinner with Nazis, right? They gonna put that shit all in commercials, all on the billboard, especially since he's running for president. As soon as he runs for president, Kanye West want to bring a white nationalist up in there, right? And not to say nothing is wrong with that, but at least let Donald Trump know about it and give him the option to see if he wanted, you know what I'm saying, the dude over his house or not. Because I'm pretty sure Donald Trump wouldn't have invited the dude over there right now. This is not the time when he's running for campaign. He didn't need that type of smoke.
Trump it sounds as though he's trying to make this go away, but it doesn't sound like it's going to go away.
And when all the lawyers said, forget it, Trump's done, there were loyalists running up in the White House, right? And my question would be, why, when you had the chance, did you not free the January 6ers?
Because it was only 2 weeks. Donald Trump couldn't free the January 6ers because he wasn't president January 20th, right? And most of the people got caught January 6th wasn't even in jail yet, or even I haven't even saw a lawyer yet. So how can he pardon them and shit like that? That type of shit don't make sense. Why you didn't do nothing for the January 6ers? He didn't have a power. Couldn't pardon them after he was president, asshole.
Back this way a little bit. A White House spokesman went further. Bigotry, hate, and anti-Semitism have absolutely no place in America, including at Mar-a-Lago.
Now you see, now Mar-a-Lago is the racist headquarters for the Nazis because of Kanye West.
I came to him as someone who loves Trump, and I said, go and get Corey back. Go and get these people that the media tried to cancel and told you to step away from. He basically gives me this would-be mob-esque kind of story.
That is a pretty strong statement. But the question is, I mean, given all that Trump has said and done, I mean, is he really better than what we are seeing here?
Talking to some kid from the south side of Chicago trying to sound mobby or whatever. He goes into the story about all that he went through to get Alice Johnson out of jail and how he didn't do it for Kim, but he did it for me. But then he goes on to say that Kim is a you can tell her I said that.
Kim is a piece of shit, and you can tell her I said that, right? And we all know Kim is a piece of shit. You called her a piece of shit. Look how her kids is, right? How her kids act. She's a piece of shit as a parent. Donald Trump ain't lying. Good looking out, 160.
And I was thinking, like, that's the mother of my children.
Look, when somebody shows you who they are, you should believe them. And Trump has shown us time and time again where he stands on these kinds of things.
Since we know, and all the Christians in America that love Trump know that Trump is a conservative, we're going to demand that you hold all policies directly to the Bible.
You hear that? We're going to demand you direct all policies. How is you going to tell Donald Trump what he demand? Right? You can't get up there and do that shit. Are you fighting against Trump or are you fighting for Trump, right? Because it don't even like you fighting for yourself, right? It don't like you promoting yourself. You're trying to talk about what he ain't going to do. And if he don't do it, then what? You going to push it? How far is that going to get you?
Taking days to disavow David Duke, the former KKK Klansman who expressed his support for Trump.
When Trump started basically screaming at me at the table, telling me I was going to lose, I mean, has that ever worked for anyone in history? You're
going to lose. Tell him he's going to lose.
I'm like, well, hold on, Trump. You're talking to Ye.
And Ye is a damn fool. Hold on, Trump. You're talking to Ye, right? Now, let me see something right quick, right? Before we get up out of here, right? Like I say, tune in to the channel tomorrow, right? We're going to be dropping video. I'm going to drop a couple of videos tomorrow. I don't even know where this damn video at. Hold on. Where the hell is this video at? Like I said, I'm going to be dropping a couple of videos tomorrow on my other channel, Black Rosebud. Hold on. I was trying to give you a sneak preview, but I don't know where the hell this video is at. Right? And if you ain't on my Patreon, you know what I'm saying, joining my Patreon, I'm gonna be doing lives on that show, on that video. Every time I release a video, I'm gonna try to go live on there and try to do a live on that video to watch it like a preview or something like that. Hold on, is this it? I don't think this is it. I don't know what the hell. I don't know where the hell I was at. What the hell I was doing? What the hell I was at? Well, I guess I got to end. I guess I got to find that video again. Because I don't know where the hell it's at. Oh, this is probably it right here. Let me see. This is probably it right here. Let me see if this is it. Let's try to give a preview.
This is an investigation.
Oh, here you go. Right here. Hopefully, I'll be saying soon, this is the funeral of my baby mama. Next! What is this all about anyway?
The President of the United States and why he lied to the American people about his knowledge and participation in his family's international business schemes.
Well, impeach his ass and lock his ass up in no particular order.
Well, I think he's absolutely right, Rob. You got to drill down to what exactly prompted this investigation. We're talking about SARS reports. These are suspicious activity reports that are required to be filed by anybody that is in banking.
National security interests require the committee conduct investigation, and we will pursue all avenues that have long been ignored.
And this could have been a bank teller who saw something and who is required by law to report what they saw. As a former bank CEO myself, I've dealt with a lot of SARS. As a CEO, I've had to file them before. And so this is a very serious matter.
And how many crackheads you can trust with a couple of $1 million in the bank? Next! But A.G. Garland want to go after Donald Trump.
Now, Garland said that Trump's announcement and Biden's, professed likely run in 2024 were factors in his decision to name a special counsel.
Based on recent developments, including the former president's announcement that he is a candidate for president in the next election, and the sitting president's stated intention to be a candidate as well, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint a special counsel.
Was that required by Trump's announcement on Tuesday, or somehow triggered this decision?
Is the timing coincidental, or is it corrupt?
I go with option B.
I think,
we got I got videos coming out. Let me see. I got videos coming up, y'all. I got videos. Where we at? Boom. I got that video coming up, right? I'm working. This video is done. I just got to put the hold on. Where we at? Right here. I just got to put the editing with the editing, and then I'm done on this video right here. New open project. No, don't save it. I'm out of here. I don't need to say that, right? I got this right here. Matter of fact, I got it all right here. Hold on. I can just put it right here. I got this video coming up with Michelle Obama.
During an interview on ABC, Michelle Obama has addressed the question about whether she would ever run.
And we have much to offer one another.
But
this morning, the University School of Milwaukee is facing.
I got videos coming up, right? Just tune in tomorrow, like I say, right? We finna get to the football game. You're a football fan, I'll let you. But it's Black Rosebud. This is the channel right here, Black Rosebud, right? Go ahead and subscribe to that channel, right? And I'm gonna put videos up, like 5 of them up tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to keep like 5 of them up, talking about current events every day, 10-minute videos, but I still gonna have my skits. And tune in tomorrow too. I'm gonna do my first live phone call live tomorrow. So if you want to call in, the number will be up in the chat. You you want to call in, you want to keep the chat to 3 minutes, and we're gonna come back. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I am out. There's some of my bitch. Watch the football. Good looking out, 160.